Pleasant good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And how are we doing this afternoon? It's the 26th day of August, 2024. And you tuned in to the Class in Session program with yours truly, Royalty James. Tag somebody right now. Share the live and let them know that class is in session. To the persons on my Facebook and YouTube page, good evening to you guys. YouTube as usual. I want to say thank you to my YouTube subscribers. They are on to like 1,100 and something going. If by the end of September we could touch the 2,000 mark, it would be so great. Alban Harris, Claude Abraham, Clary Joseph, Kathleen Lendor, Miss Marilyn Ferguson, Errol Bonaparte, Gemma Warwood, Christine Otley, Della Phillip, Clive Raymond, Yard Boy, Faithlin Harley Douglas, and Red Girl Pascal. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Let's welcome Dr. Love Jeremy Christopher. He say I'm a new student. Welcome to the Class in Session program for another wonderful day. So he's a first-time listener, and we say welcome to a good program where you get good information, interactive. The process of learning is open here. So tag somebody right now. Let them know that class is in session. Welcome, welcome to the first time person or persons. I hope today's session will cause you to be back. Yeah, it is 1 week before the opening of another school year. The voice of Black Stalin and Great Two Begonian. This one is called Bondem. We have to have conversations today, and we go start in a short while. Facebook, you're not impressing me. One share? Go ahead and share the live right now. To the persons of Carriacou and PD Martinique, good day to you guys. We love you guys so much. You guys are going to build back better as soon as the next general election is called. London in the house, good day, good day, good day, good day. Carib Spice Fitness, say they're listening all the way from Texas. Mr. Terry Lee saying good evening to you, sir. Christian Alexander, she says she's always excited to come to class. So they're good students, right? We're going back to school with the same old uniform because the teacher don't change. Yes. Sean Andrew, good evening to you. Good evening, good evening, good evening. And welcome to another Class in Session program. Let us start up officially by, saying happy belated birthday to Honorable Emmeline Pear, who celebrated last week. So happy birthday to you, Miss Pear. We didn't get a chance to extend that birthday greetings to you. So we want to take that opportunity right now. Yeah? So we want to extend Happy birthday to you. Yes, and we hope that God grants you the opportunity to see many and 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 many more birthdays to come. All right. So go ahead right now. As I said, you can share the live. Tyrell Strat. Tyrell, yes, Tyrell, good evening to you. Good evening to you, and welcome to another class in session program. Where are we starting? What are we starting with today? Ladies and gentlemen, we're embarking on a third-year process. Oh, Mr. Dabrio's birthday was yesterday, so happy birthday belated birthday to Mr. Dabrio also. Good people born in August, yeah. The Bible wrote about that. Yes. I want to tackle this week, ladies and gentlemen, conversations that we heard during the past general election campaign, and I want persons to understand when I'm speaking and from what perspective that I'm speaking from. Now, the fact of the matter is, we remembered the echoed sentiment prior when the Prime Minister just took office, and his echoed sentiment of Pity Matnik, Carriacou, and Grenada. Who remember that? Remember the echoed sentiment of Pity Matnik, Carriacou, and Grenada? Let me see to the Prime Minister. And I continue to show you guys how good this guy continues to play on the minds of Grenadians with words. Now is the time to put Pity Matnik and Carriacou in front of Grenada. Not just in words, but in actions. Not just in words, but in actions. Agnes Henry says she is celebrating her 35th year anniversary today. So congratulations to Agnes Henry on 35 years anniversary. That's a blessing. That's a blessing right there. Congratulations to you, Agnes Henry, and your companion, your significant other. Happy anniversary to you guys. Now, we have for the past few days heard a lot coming from the sister isle. And the reports are not good. As I aforementioned, this is the time that I want to see the action expressed by the Prime Minister in action in putting Pity Matnik and Carriacou in front of Grenada. Because remember, he was doing it out of malice, There's how to call it. He was doing it to show off, to give the people the impression that his main focus was to the people of Carriacou and Pity Martinique. So he was going around in all seminars, in all sectors, and speaking Pity Matnik, Carriacou, and Grenada, and sharing that sentiment. Well, let me again say, Mr. Prime Minister, this is the time to put Pity Matnik and Carriacou, not in words, but in actions. Yeah? They still wait. Somebody said in the comment section, principally cricketers of St. Patrick is still awaiting the visit from Sir Vivian Richards to help in organizing the cricket competition. The Minister of St. Patrick's West promised them 2 years ago. We get into them. Now, there are complaints. And you see, if the minister caused bad word and minister caused the police, did not disrespect the police officers in Carriacou. For those of you all who know, there is a brewing issue in Carriacou and Pity Martinique now. Information reaching my news desk is that now the issue that is being faced with is that persons from Carriacou and Pity Martinique are purchasing their items because the VAT opportunity is there. The non-VAT opportunity is there. So they're sending to Grenada to the different institutions, purchasing the items. Yeah? Delivery is being shown that all the items have been delivered and sent up on the boat. And to the greatest surprise of the persons that are awaiting the items, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, they are not getting the items. The persons of Carriacou and Pidimatnik who are working hard, that they don't want to come and beg for some water or a bottle of water because they have the money to do it. They could go in the stores and so on, in the supermarkets and so on. Come into that later on. So they are now using their monies, as is mentioned, to do what they have to do. Sending to Grenada, getting their windows and their doors, other lumbers and other items. And when it gets to Carriacou, they are not getting it. I am speaking from a relevant source. I am speaking from somebody who actually is experiencing this right now. They're calling the institution down here. They are calling the institution down here. And the institutions are telling them, look, we have the documentation signed where the delivery was made by the persons on the truck. So the items actually went on to the boats. Yeah? So it is no fault of the different places in Grenada, because when they're calling back into Grenada to find out whether or not the item was delivered, they are getting photos. They're getting clarification. The transparency is there to say to them, hey, your item was delivered. This is what you ordered. This is where we delivered it. And that is that. But the persons are going to Carriacou on the docks, as we just call it, and they are not getting their items. Mr. Prime Minister, Minister responsible for Carriacou and Pidimatnik Affairs, let's start to put Pidimatnik and Carriacou in front of Grenada in situations like this. Because it is already heartening to have lost your home. Now, as old people say, the little 2 pence that you would have had to ensure that you can start your rebuilding process. Now your items, even after purchase, are being stolen or they're going missing. I don't know what it is that is happening up there. I don't know what is the process. But that, to me, ladies and gentlemen, is a serious issue. Because to already be in that position, whereby you would have lost and you're attempting to be a rebuild, and then to send to Grenada to purchase your items with the last little bit that you have, and then to only find out that when you get on the port, your items cannot be found. I am saying to you, this is not a propaganda. I am speaking from somebody who's actually in the situation now. You hear me? So, Mr. Prime Minister, within your good office, through your good office, let's put Pidimatnikans and kayaks in front of Grenada in that situation. Because to me, I find that is utter nonsense. That is utter nonsense. And as I said, if the officers in Carriacou wasn't so demotivated and demoralized, then maybe they would have get up on the hind and be able to go and try their best to carry out their investigations. But when anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I think there are some things in life that even if you don't want it to be true, or if you believe it's a propaganda, especially when it comes to persons, you just want to believe it. Because I mean, many of us know the famous Donald Trump. Yeah? And it is stated that Donald Trump is an educated guy. It is stated on papers. He's a bright fella, based on what they're saying. But when you hear him speak, you're asking yourself, where is the intelligence that you expect this individual to have? The allegation was that he forged his documentation from college or wherever, high school or whatever. You know the allegation. But when you hear him speak, you want to believe the allegation. I mean, you're not in possession of the documentation to say otherwise, but when you hear him utter words, you want to believe for a fact that this guy never go to school. Now, it is being alleged that a particular minister of government have one subject. And I'm getting vexed when I'm talking about that, because I want to use words that are fish market behavior. Because I believe to myself that these persons gave themselves up for an occupation that they did not understand what is the job specification and description that they was asking to be hired for.
We're going to do it. It may take long because planning requires time and strategies for us to put things in place so that it benefits all the people.
Let me pause that. Because all you know me, in the classroom, I like to break things up. Now, if you're doing something to benefit all persons, if you're doing something to benefit all persons, ladies and gentlemen, go on.
Perfect. We have never experienced a catastrophic event like this in our lifetime.
Can you Oh my God. You see, it is one to speak, and then it is the other to speak and don't understand what you're speaking about. Again, it comes down to persons that are of the belief that they know and they're not old enough, big enough, man or woman enough to go to somebody who knows better. This gentleman said they have never experienced that. I wonder if he's speaking about the administration or if he's speaking about the individuals within the party. Because as far as we know, Grenada had a catastrophe, even much more of a higher percentage of damages as a government.
And in terms of governance. So it requires patience, strategy. We're going to do it.
I am of the firm belief, ladies and gentlemen, and record this here. The next person Deacon Mitchell fires is Stephen Andrew. Quote me on that. The next person Deacon Mitchell would have to fire or reprimand publicly is Stephen Andrews. Because this guy speaks in a manner that he believes to himself that the mere understanding of what you're elected to do, you must talk contrary to it. As the saying goes, if you have nothing good to say, hush your mouth. Everything takes planning. Everything takes processes. Yeah? We are quite aware of that. But it is different to withstand a destruction in which you were not planning for. This is not buying a piece of land and say I go build 4 years later on. This is something that would have happened, and so, as is normally said, it needs its most immediate attention. This is not a situation where the people have to sit down and wait on you, Tevin. The people are supposed to sit down and wait on government. Government need to understand that it is mandated that when the state, so there is an invasion, somebody come and they say, well, okay, we invading Grenada. Persons are dying out there, and government is inside saying, okay, hold on now. Although, left 14 dead still now. When we reach up to about 27, we go do something. We reach up to 27, we go up to 31. We done 50 something dead. You need to understand what needs urgent attention. Plan what? What do you need to plan? And even if you're planning, planning is a process. We must see at the end of the day that there are efforts being made to aid in the development or to make better. If we're being truthful to ourselves, the entire aiding to Carriacou and Martinique, the government of Grenada did absolutely nothing. What level of donation or dedication did the government make to aid in the development when it comes to the relief process in Carriacou and Martinique? What did they do? What did they do? The government at the date at this stage is sitting on monies. Sitting on monies and telling Grenadians, wait, hold on. Well, persons, and we know definitely we are just touching the season. The fact of the matter is, you need not to be at a position in your life whereby common sense need to prevail. And this is what we're getting at. I see somebody just commented. I spoke about that the other day when I spoke about subjects. You need not to have 17 subjects to be bright. No. 1, 2, 3. And they're intelligent people within our scope. But at the end of the day, when you are alleged to not being certified educated, meaning you don't have all the documentation behind your name, but you might have the ability to speak or maybe the ability to do mechanics or whatever, you ought to be able to show people that you are not going to be where you're being labeled. So because I have one subject, I have to sound stupid. The statement that was being made by the Minister of Government, it wasn't a press briefing, or press conference, He's doing that within his own personal space. Because the statement that you're making are redundant. At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, the mandate that you took up, the mandate that ministers of government, the oath taken, I wonder if they just read and they just run through what was said. But anyway, it goes on, he goes on.
As Member of Parliament, forget now me as Minister, me as your Member of Parliament and me as a kayak. Let's be real, there are many of us as kayaks, many of you as kayaks who could afford to rebuild your homes. There are many people that could afford to rebuild their homes. Don't ask me, I'm telling you. And yes, you want the government to rebuild your house for you. I find that real unfair. You could afford to rebuild your home. You have the money sitting in the bank to rebuild your house, your home, or to do your roof, and you want the government to do it for you. I mean, this is sad. I mean, wherever we hear that from, we have to do better than that. So yes, the government will do everything that it can to assist, and that is why we announce the measures as it relates to the tax-free measures on building materials and supplies, and tax-free measures as it relates to imported items, household items and so on that you've lost during the hurricanes, so that you can go and do what you have to do. But you can't expect the government to do everything for you. That is impossible. There's no...
And people, this is not factual. This is not factual. You know that it's not factual. Because no sane individual is going to be in a position to do what they have to do and ask government to come and build a house for them. Ain't nobody doing it. Ain't nobody doing it. But at the end of the day, the fact of the matter is, okay, build back my house. Build back my house. Fine. Okay, I build back my house. There are still businesses within the areas in which I have to develop, or the areas where I have to get maybe grocery, water, maybe I have to get gas, I have to go to school, I have to go to work. What is government doing about those places? Yeah? The road that I need to traverse to go on a daily basis. Yeah? Where I might be wanting to recreate. You asking me to rebuild my house in an area that is basically at this stage a dump. You asking me to rebuild in a dump. Some of the issues of those persons are the inability to have the everyday moving. And that is what government is thinking most about. So I build me house and then I have to come to Grenada and buy fish. I build me house and I can... This is not what persons are asking. This is not government. Persons are simply saying to you, the government needs to stop dragging their foot on certain things that has to be done. Look at the issue that is being arised now. Persons who are now not waiting for the government, sending to Grenada, getting the items, purchasing the items, and they're losing it on the ports. So I'm asking whether or not this person does due diligence. Do you the thought process? The thought process. Where is customs in all this? How is it being transparent now that government say, okay, send in Grenada and buy your lumber. And persons are sending to Grenada and buy the lumber. What is the issue they're facing with now? Persons are stealing the items on the port. They're not finding the items on the port. Companies in Grenada are saying, hey, we did send your item up. Persons are attesting, yes, the items came on board. Where you go after that? So, you see, when these guys and them speaking, their thought process is to simply try to be the best they could be. That's all they want. The face, the name. That's what they want. Oh, we planning with. But how you plan that? You just tell some people, okay, 100%. It happens all over the world. Containers are coming and people doesn't get the items. Barrel, all kind of thing. We have to have due diligence and process in order for the same people who know they're waiting for government. So the persons who know was reluctant to send and get items in Grenada, and they're getting that report now. What do you think that is going to happen? Due diligence, process, consultation. And that is what it requires. It's not just, oh, we give you 100% off, 100% on tax, so send up your item to Carriacou. What is the process when it gets to Carriacou? Yeah? What is the process? What is the due diligence that would ensure that the persons who make the purchase be able to get the items without having the issues that we have now? It can't happen because why? Your thought process was simply to try to look good. Oh, all he was talking about, oh, government get 100% off on tax. That is the praise, you know. That is the praise. That's all they want. That is what government underlines there. So they don't care if you get it or you don't get it. But the underlying process there is that government provides this. Yeah, they're giving free barrel on the port, but they don't care Once you get free barrel, they don't care if there is an infestation of rats on the pod that when you go home, you are rat in your place. All they want to know, government give free barrel. Due diligence. These guys just want to sound good. And since the election are telling all you, since they're telling you, listen to this, listen to this, well, they can't fool me again. They can't fool me again. Well, this one is what caused the big uproar.
Well, same done, you know.
Fully.
I want to ensure that I get a clip that I was looking for. Apparently, it just mesmerized on me. Yeah. So let me get the clip that started the uproar. Well, the clip that gave him the name and fame. Let me ensure that I get my hands on it. I think that should be it right here. I wonder if that is it. It doesn't show. You don't want to open. You're afraid, Kevin?
Me as your member of parliament and me as a kayak.
Definitely, that's not it. Where is it? I don't know why I'm not getting my hands on it. He hiding today?
Supermarkets are open. Some of the people that are running them out the most are public officers, teachers, public officers who are receiving their salaries. The salaries still running. The supermarkets are open. Some of the people that are running them out the most are public officers, teachers, public officers who are receiving their salaries. The salaries still running. The shop open, the supermarket open, and you're making confusion for case of water and bottle of water. The loudest people on social media are the people whose salaries are running. No, let's be real.
No, again, I'm going back to it. No, and as I say, and I would keep saying, I don't know when we got here, but if Dr. Mitchell made a statement close to that, and Emmeline Payer, Clarice Modeste, any one of them would have made a statement anyway close to this in the reign of the new National Party. They wanted an election tomorrow. Understand, ladies and gentlemen. Understand what this gentleman was saying to Grenadians there. There are persons who's overseas. Not your money. Let's start with that. Your salary was running during the same hurricane. You didn't take out nothing in your pocket and buy for the people who could not have afforded. The hard-working people who decided we are going to donate to the persons, whether or not your salary running or your salary running. We want to know that you were in a position whereby the state, the island, the place that you were on, were or is in a devastating condition. And here are the things in which he said people are asking for. Water. Let us be honest as Grenadians. Let's be honest as the people. How many of us, hard-working people like us, just take out that $5 in our pocket and buy our water? Let's be honest. How much of us just do it? We just stay and work since 2 o'clock. After 4, we living in Sotes. When we reach home, we go drink water from in the fridge. How many of us do it? So what is a bottle of water in which you come in and try to castigate individuals? And you see that, I'll tell you, that's the thought process of this organization. So hence the reason why you see they pay pension the manner in which they paid it. Because when they give you money, the expectation is that you use it and spend it back in the economy like they're mandating you to do that. Remember, my father gave me a joke one time. He was employed And every time the boss man pay them, the boss man paying them by shop. Yeah? And the process was that all the liquor fellas and them, when they get their money, say, all that $5 drink a beer. All that $600, all that $200, drink something, $1, hold something, drink something. My father say as he got paid, he used to push it in his pocket and go home. Say he did it for weeks. Until one time, somebody asked him, well, how come you don't buy? Say, the boss pay me, I work already. I am not expected to give the boss nothing. When I was working, I can give the boss the hammer and tell him, finish that for me. I'm doing my job. And when the boss pay me, it's my money. I could do what I want with my money. I work for that already. I don't work for that already. The boss can tell me what to do with my money. There was a process in the state by the past administration during COVID-19. And I was like to make them fellas look stupid. Because it's a kid Michelle they don't like. There were teachers in the same position who could have afforded to go in courts and take a laptop on hire purchase. A principal could have gone to the station, to any area, order a laptop wherever, because the salary could have afforded it. Dr. Mitchell didn't say their salary running, so let them buy a laptop to ensure that they teach school with children during COVID-19. He could have said that. But due to good leadership, what did he do? He said, teachers, look. He said, look laptop. He said, look tablet. He didn't do an assessment to see how many parents could afford to buy a tablet. He didn't say, well, your mother and your father working in the ministry, they could buy a tablet. He gave the opportunity to every child in Grenada, whether or not your parents is living in Lands and Spins. You had the opportunity to get a tablet. There were parents who decided, we're not going to do it. But the opportunity was given. So too is in the relief. The relief is for every person in Carriacou and Pidimatnik as far as we know. Whether or not you're a teacher, a lawyer, a doctor, whomever. Many of them, they go and sit down in a meeting. And the first thing you see you do, you bring a bottle of water and you put on the table. You feel the people don't know you could afford a water? Yeah? You feel when you go and you sit down in a meeting and you open a bottle of water, you feel the people though can say to you, watch out, we didn't bring water today, no. You're a minister of government, you know. You could go and buy water in the grocery store outside. There is something, ladies and gentlemen, in what we just call, as my father used to tell me, respecting the buttons. There are people in the state and there are elder folks now that still have that instilled in them. And I grew up with that same information in me. You see, when you see police, teachers, and nurses, bro, I grew up in a time when people used to get up and give these people a seat. Because they respected the office they hold. You there anyway, and you see, as a parent, you saw a teacher to your child, and you're calling her miss. Like if she's teaching you. Because that was the level of respect that was given to them. Now you have a mere minister of government who is lackadaisically a few weeks old as a politician. Basic aid. The people are not coming and asking for anything else, you know. And even if there is anything else there, it's what cricks and corned beef. You cannot. I tell you, like, all those work with me. Let me read a person. Denying aid based on facts that someone is still earning a salary would be both unfair and counterproductive. In conclusion, public officers like any other citizen should receive aid if they have or are being affected by this storm. Their role and their salary should not disqualify them from support needed from a recovery from a disaster. And that is basic thoughts, that basic thinking. When somebody is suffering and I have to give them something, I don't need to know your occupation. Your occupation is irrelevant to me. How many of us, after COVID-19, the $100 and the $200, $300, sit down in the house and we can't buy nothing? How many of us? How many of us wanted to go and buy a tank of gas? And what was the purpose of the tank of gas? In some situations, when the stove wet? Yeah? What was the purpose thereof? Basic items. This is basic items. You come in and make a national statement like that. And then, Dr. Mitchell was the worst thing in the world. When you have nothing good to say nothing at all. Because the fact of the matter is, you cannot tell me there is justification to that statement. None. So if they're on social media, was on social media hyping you up. You forget? The trade union leaders asked them to make noise for you and your administration, being the best administration after 2 years to ever give in all these years. And they could have gone on social media. The social media picked them up. On social media, they gave you praise. Why they should hush now to give you a little backfiring? When they're praising you on the same social media as public servants, and you could not have done them anything. Now they are castigating you on the same social media they big you up on. You don't like it. So we're not telling about them guys. Because if a teacher go today on Facebook and she say they're doing real good in Carriacou and PD Martinique, let a teacher go or nurse, somebody go and they say NDC is doing well in Carriacou and PD Martinique. They're sharing it. They're sharing it. They want the whole world to see. Yeah? But they get a little castigation on whatever means. No, teachers and nurses, public servants is the worst in Carriacou because now they are dealing with the issue that affects them most. So you see how these guys operate? When you're praising them, the last time that we had to try to shoot down a nurse because all we turn on Dr. Mitchell can have a press conference. That particular nurse is under the comment section saying all kind of derogative thing. All kind of things she's saying. More you posting about her, nothing. You going on some of them pages, you seeing her on the page and praising her. And everybody knows that she was a public servant. But she giving the NDC praise. Yeah? But now, the same public servants, maybe have different occupation, is castigating your actions as it relates to the process in which you're giving aid in Carriacou. And that is the worst thing. That is the worst thing. And let's always play a song here. And again, you will realize I'm referencing my father a lot today, sorry. As his favorite song. Sufferers don't care about color, brother. Sufferers don't care about color and race. You see, when you're suffering, you don't care who you be. I could vote for you. You could have just given me or whatever you want to say. But you see, when I'm suffering, sufferers don't care about color. Sufferers don't care about race. You don't want to know? They want to know where the next meal. Not money, you know. Not the money. They would keep that. They would give you $300 for a plate of food. They would give you $300 to eat. Because I'm telling you, and watch me. Let me tell you something what I know during those processes. You wouldn't believe the doctor and teacher and nurses that he talking about it are the same ones that when they collect salary, they're going. Listen to me. And I've seen it happen. That these people sometimes within the community, they are the ones when they are realizing that government aid are reaching to some people. These are the teachers and nurses and doctors within certain communities that are taking their money and going and buying little thing for areas in which government no meeting. Take from me when I tell you that. There are teachers, nurses, and doctors within certain communities, and they might realize a family is not meeting the standard like everybody else. And they would take their money. And the same shop we talking about it, they're going and they're buying things for that family. And they would go and ask for aid. Because to themselves, they believe in it might be a faster process for me. Because I is teacher this, I is doctor this, I is nurse this. So maybe when I go in the line, they might see me and say, okay, hold a case of water, a whole 4 bottles of water. So I could get by. My family could get by. They are the ones going through the communities in Carriacou and Pedimatic. See the 1 or 2 people that are still cooking and give people. And when government passing, they might take a little thing because of them. You know what me? Let me tell you something. You see people with good heart, they don't have belly, you know. You see when you have good heart, you don't have belly. Because what has happened to you? You want to be so good that sometimes you don't even eat it. Sometimes a little cup of tea is good enough for you. Because you see other people suffering. And you just want to do good. You just want to be good. So the nurses and doctors, the little water they're asking for, sometimes it's just to hold them, you know. As we don't say, it's just to hold them. They drink a bottle of water, they might eat a little crackers, and they're good. But the single mother down the road with 3 children, or the father down in Grenada here, trying to see how ends could meet to get a little thing to send up for them. And the teacher might say, the doctor might say, watch, let me give them, because when I go down there, they might deal with me faster. I have my vehicle. Them can go nowhere. Them be moving all these years with bus. Them can go to Hillsborough. So maybe I could just use what I have, give it to them, and then I could pass in the aid or in that man pick up 2 things. You feel like not the thought process? But when you so do... When they go low, go high. When they go low, go high. Let me not go down to their standard. But you understand that, people? Simple individual like me, with the thought process, come to mind like better give the nurse, better give the doctor, you know, because they might be able to help me within certain communities. And you see, that is what you call being resourceful. And remember I spoke about the other day? Sometimes the government don't need to do it. No. You're using that one person within your community who is influential enough. The soca artist, the teacher, the doctor, yeah, the social media blogger. Persons who interact more. Sometimes government can't reach there. Sometimes the minister of government can't reach there. The PS cannot reach there. But you have this one person within there, a public servant, and all you're good. And you might say, but watch, I can't reach in Dumfries today, you know. What you could think and do for me? These are your point, people. These are the people you're supposed to be using. These are the people you're supposed to make happy. But you're confusion with them. And the mere fact that they are dissatisfied with your service. They are dissatisfied with your service. And they should not talk. They shouldn't say anything. Praise you in good, praise you in bad. Well, as far as I see, brothers and sisters, this government never bad yet. This government never do bad yet. This is the best government the world has ever seen. This government has never done anything wrong. You feel a lie? Listen for yourself. Listen for yourself. Because it's not me alone that notice it. Because I don't want to say, people don't say, it's not me alone that does notice it.
Because I went to every NDC rally and I heard the Prime Minister and Lacrette, but all you know I go on with Lacrette or they fire him and what. I don't take in part in that. They talked so passionately about reviving healthcare and fixing healthcare in this country. Now I want you, the lovers of the NDC, to tell me why that has not yet been done. You see, I just cannot just blame the nurses and the doctors, y'all. And for various reasons, I hope I get to that as my mind through. But we have policy makers, we elected people who promise to bring change. And I don't understand how Grenadians always just sitting down, accepting the bullshit, and do and say absolutely nothing because they like the government. I don't understand that.
So not me alone that see. Not you alone that seeing. There are other persons. And I'm referencing that. That's why I played it. To reference the fact that they are Grenadians. We are watching these things happen. So we should not hold accountable the minister for such a statement. We sit back and we accept on the quote-unquote basis that we support the party. So because we support the party, they could drag us down the mud, take us down the line, call everybody all kind of name. And then some of the things that you hear they reference to, Kid Mitchell do it. But all you vote him out for him doing it. I cannot understand, ladies and gentlemen, up to date. I know people just compare themselves with good. Because if I am doing something good, right? And I have to make myself or compare myself with something or someone who was bad, then I am bad. Because if I get something wrong or make a mistake, and the first thing that could come to mind is, well, ain't he do it? And as I always reference, you meet this new guy, he tell you, well, you know, or this new girl, she say, listen to me, everything is going to be good. I'm going to treat you different. I'm going to give you this, I'm going to give you that. Get into the relationship, and every time she does something, or he does something, she telling you, or he telling you, ain't your ex used to do it? Ain't your man used to do that? So if every time you're referencing yourself to my past relationship, then it means that you're no better, or you decide to do no better than that of the past. So you're beating me every time, like me ex used to do, and you come in and tell me, but not licks you like, and your ex-man used to beat you. That is your comparison. Every time you tell the National Democratic Congress as it relates to something, they reference it with the failed so-called NNP administration. A man stayed in office for 22, 23 years. He did nothing. But you take over his office and you still can't get nothing to do. Funny enough, and they're telling you, oh, government is continuum. We are just continuing the things that NNP used to do. Are we fixing it? What you fixing it? There was nothing to fix. You campaigned that nothing was being done. Absolutely. There was nothing taking place in the country. Poor people, worse, health, bad. What else? Sports are the worst. Everything done. But when you ask them, within the last 2 years, what major project, what major resources, what has the administration done that you can say, this is an NDC project, this is an NDC, they're telling you, oh, you don't have none, because we're just continuing, because government is continuum, so we're continuing what NNP left. But NNP did nothing, so you're just there fixing a set of nothing. Malinet project, they're fixing it. Them that, what? They renegotiated and get back the monies. It is an initiated project by the NDC. NDC that started. And then to crown it off, somebody sent me this today. And they want to argue with me on it because I said to them, I said, listen to me. Nice talk, sweet talk. I say, wrong to send that for me. You're wrong. Because, as I always say to you guys, if you don't, as I told you guys, and I always say, Deacon Mitchell, the Prime Minister of Grenada, can't sweet talk me. You see me? I can real talk. And I'm not afraid to tell nobody that. Give me any topic to speak on, and even if I do good, I song in real good. It goes with the opportunity to have a legal mind and understand that people. You see, when you have a legal mind, one, and you have the ability to articulate, the ability to verbally express yourself, intonation, and be able to use words, man, God gifted me with that shit. Sorry, came out. That one slip out. So I know. I'm quite aware. I can give you all the nice ideas in my head. All the nice ideas, all the nice things I could say it. Because what? I'm saying what you want to hear. And that is Dick and Mitchell for you. He knew we just had a failed carnival season. But he went on a radio station the other day and talked that piece of mess.
I'm going to say this to our promoters. I may not get claps for it. They need to pay our local artists more. Because oftentimes, when you look at the disparity between what they pay regional artists and what they pay Grenadian artists, I mean, it is tenfold, 1,000-fold. And I think some of it is a little disrespectful to our local artists. So, and I've had to go through that same process. And I'll give an example. When I think we were looking at recruiting some of the local artists, and Orlando sent me the invoice, I was like, boss man, I'm sure we could pay all of that. And his response to me was, PL, we can't say we're supporting culture. We can't say we're supporting the creatives. And every time a Grenadian artist asks for a decent wage, you want to cut it down or beat it down. But if a regional or international artist asks for it, you don't blink, you don't even negotiate with them. So I'm saying you have to find the right balance. I'm saying this to our promoters. I think you should promote more local artists. I think you should pay them better. I have nothing with bringing the regional artists, but it is carnival. People are going to the shows because it is Grenada's carnival.
God have mercy upon us.
Ladies and gentlemen, this man said when he was the political leader, his peer called him and told him as it relates to recruiting artists. And therefore he realized then that our local artists are paid minimally as opposed to regional international artists. PL, as you heard him say, is political leader. So somebody called you and said, hey, we're recruiting 7 artists. They're calling whatever. Let's stick to knowledge that during the NDC's campaign, the 1 or 2 artists that was there were, it's not all local recognized artists. So I'm guessing this gentleman is speaking range the payment between 500 and 1,000 to artists. Because remember, one of the biggest artists there was that young guy from St. John's. One of the biggest artists that was on their platform. Now, you knew that as a political leader. You were elected Prime Minister. You have at this stage, as political leader, and with a Minister of Culture under your scope, have seen 3 failed carnival season, which is the mecca of our cultural display. 3 failed carnival. More so that even this year, one of our past soca monarchs are speaking to the fact that even the entity responsible, which is SMC, hasn't even paid him his winning title. They can you come and fool with this talk about you, about people and promoters getting more money for artists. If we just ban, bro, the only person to make such a decision is within your 4 and using through him the Minister of Culture. So what stupidness you come in and tell people? About you believe they should be paid more, and the promoters are the ones that should take front and pay them more. So if I see a man kicking a dog, why I shouldn't kick it too? Because I don't realize that you're not doing anything better than what I'm doing. I'm kicking your dog too. The state, the entity that is responsible in the state to pay our artists a substantial amount to ensure that our culture goes up, is paying them minimally and even owing them or even not paying them at all. Why me as a promoter should give more? What promoters have to do is ask now for the bill for the artists and them that would have performed in the independence thing in the stadium. Ask government how much money they paid to each artist and see whether or not you as a promoter is paying more or less. See whether or not they would have paid Boise $50 or $60 or $20,000 to perform in the stadium for the independent show they put on. Them fellas is talkers. Them fellas is talkers. And the minute time they get that platform to talk and make themselves sound nice, and he sometimes doesn't even realize what he's saying, you know. He says as a political leader, he knew that issue, you know. How many times have you heard that conversation since NDC take office to ensure that promoters or to even have some form of gauging with artists to say, well, we should be paid at that level? And all you just spoke as it relates to minimum wage and so on. Well, mandated that promoters pay all artists in Grenada no less than $1,500. Mandated. Or $2,000 or $3,000. Mandated, put it in black and white. That when the season opens to its closure, no artist should be paid less than X or Y. They can't do it. They will never do it. But you see, that opportunity to talk and sound nice, that is what they're doing. I have another issue to address because tomorrow I want to come fresh. Now, there is a post-hurricane burial incentive for reconstruction and business reactivation application form. I believe that form is coming from the Ministry of Housing. Don't take my word that it is, but I believe it surrounds housing, right? Question 1, your name. Question 2, your home address. Question 3, your contact number. Question 4, your email address. Question 5, your preferred mode of contact. So the very first 5 questions surrounds communication. Me or you being able to be contacted. Now, listen question 6. List the members of household over 18 years old. Ladies and gentlemen, I leave this here. Ms. Batiste, the relevance of the statement being made is to wit the fact that the Prime Minister then would have said, as a political leader, he himself would have had first-hand knowledge as it relates to the reluctance of maybe promoters and referencing to promoters that the sometime inability or not wanting to accept the fact that we want to pay artists more. Yeah, at the time he was a political leader when he said so, and he would have had that issue. Now, my point is, or the relevance I am expressing here, is that if you knew that as a political leader, and we would have at this stage faced our third carnival under your governance, my question to pose, or the relevance of the question to pose here, would be that of what has you done, what your government has initiated, maybe conversations with promoters, have you met with artists to ensure that you curb such an issue or try to improve the issue? That's the relevance of the conversation, Ms. Batiste. I hope that would have assisted you in the question asked. As I was saying, number 6, as is stated, list the members of household over 18 years old. Take in consideration the incentive for construction and business reactivation. What is irrelevant to that number 6? Anyways, as I said, I am digging deeper into it, and so I pray, and pray not in the sense of worship, that I find some form of intelligence in continuing to ask. Maybe somebody will message me personally, and this is what I'm posing. Don't get me wrong. I am trying to understand the relevance of the question asked. Yeah? And if we could find the relevance of the questions asked, or the question asked, then I would throw my hands in the air and say, okay, I understand the reason why the question is asked. Yeah? But to me, I don't see the purpose for the age of persons in that process. But, as I said, number 6 paused me, and to many others, yeah, would have sent it to me and said, what do you think about it? And I'm like, well, I don't think it's relevant, but maybe to another person, maybe they would understand it. And you know, normally within this scope, I like to ask questions to get other person's perspective and thinking. Yeah? I like to do that because at the end of the day, I wouldn't be the brightest boy in the class. Yeah? But, we need to sometimes filter from others. Like, am I saying this wrong? Or are you getting the same concept of what I'm trying to say or what I'm saying? And then maybe you could say, well, okay, that is not what I mean, but I believe it's that what I mean. But to me, I'm just saying, based on the form, I don't see the purpose of asking how many persons in your house are over 18 years old. That is me. This is not the general consensus. If that is your opinion too, like mine, fine. But if you have a different one, then okay to share it. And that is the process of learning. That's the process of dialogue. Yeah? Being able to exchange that, conversation and understanding through a process whereby you say, okay, that is what it is. It could change my perspective. I might say, oh, I understand. So, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of today's class in session program. To me, we would have had a wonderful session again today, and we would be back here again tomorrow. Again, discussing issues, having conversations, and speaking on issues that is of relevance, be it socially or politically. Yeah, one person to always understand. We could have social conversations too. Yeah, don't think the platform is always going to be politics, but I do have sometimes social conversation, and sometimes it does not just surround the government. And many times you would hear me say it is not a political conversation. I would say things like it doesn't involve politics. Yeah. But sometimes when you zero it into the decision makers, yeah, need to walk along with persons sometime in whatever entity, right? I am not saying that the Prime Minister needs to go into SMC and grab a promoter by the throat and say, this is what you have to do. No. It's a process, and it's a thought process. You need to get from the other side. Why are you paying them less? What is the process? What happens here? What is it? You know? So it sometimes requires a conversation, and from the right person. Yeah. So it's not like me telling government, go in SMC and call a promoter and change the price. No. See where it weighs. Can we move it from, okay, there because I'm getting $500, can we move it from $500 to $700, $800? Yeah? And, whether or not, certain things can happen because, there's a VAT included in all these things. So it takes a lot of conversation, and it's a process. And all I'm saying is that this is where we are going into what? Year 4 of a carnival season that the administration is facing. And if you would have noticed that as a political leader, and you have not made it a conversation yet, be knowledgeable about it, then you're spinning top in mud. It's irrelevant to what we're trying to get at, or the goal we're trying to get at, because them guys and them need it as much as every other person. Don't think the artists and them don't need the $2 too. But as I say, it was a pleasure being here with you guys again for another Class in Session program. God's blessings to each and every one of you. We are going to be back here again tomorrow, same time, same place. As we know, once if there is any other change or if there is any other thing that comes up, then we would definitely inform. But as of now, as we're at here, we will or should be back here tomorrow, same time, same place. All right? Have yourself a wonderful, wonderful evening. And thanks for being a part of the Class in Session program. I was yours truly, Royalty James. Have yourself a blessed evening.
God have mercy upon us.
contribution that she make.